started once before, but we're going to start all over again this time. By the way,
Sure,
I,
you want to get it, or should we just let it go?
Augusta, could you give us your first and last name and your middle initial and spell them for us so we have that correctly on the tape?
Okay, it's Augusta Young. We'll spell Augusta, and I don't have a middle initial.
Okay. Young?
Young.
Okay. And the address here, Augusta, is
504 East L.
once again, if we ask you any questions that you don't want to answer, you just feel free to go ahead and say you'd rather pass on that one. I'm going to ask you your date of birth.
Oh yes, it's 8 month, 15 day, and 31st year.
It's my son's birthday too, August 15th.
Is that?
Yeah. Augusta, where are you from? Where were you born?
I was born in Bickland, Mississippi.
Bickland?
That's right.
Okay, and your parents' names?
Uh, Molly and George Lindsay.
And your parents were from Mississippi too?
No, they were from Alabama.
Okay, and how did they wind up in Mississippi?
Um, they just decided, so far as I know from hearing them talk about it, that they wanted to go to Mississippi and try to make a living in Mississippi, because they were in the hill parts of Alabama. And my daddy only went to school one day. Took him all day to go to school wherever he was at. And then all night to get back home. So he only went to school one day. But he got his education and learning from other people's, and as he grew older, he got involved in so much different stuff, until that's how he educated himself,
Okay.
but not from a school.
What did he do then in Mississippi?
In Mississippi, he owned land. And when he first went, he didn't own land. But after a while, working hard, he got a chance to buy some land. And so he bought this land. And he raised cotton, corn, hay, all kinds of vegetables and stuff, and cane, sorghum cane, ribbon cane. He made syrup out of it, 2 different canes. And you know all about the cotton. You pick the cotton. Did I ever pick cotton? I learned how to pick 300 pounds a day.
Wow.
Yeah, you shake your cotton down and pack. Shake it down and pack. You had a 9 feet sack on you. You shake it down and pack, and when you get through, the sack would be around like that. 9 feet. You tie that up. See, when they call it laid down. So when you laid down a sack of cotton, you had done some work. And so those sacks would weigh like 100, 106 and stuff like that. So you had to do some hustling to pick 300 pounds of cotton. You had to go get up early in the morning. My mother was very strict. I wish I had that part of her. You had to get up early in the morning. You had to cook. First thing you had to do was get on your knees. And then you had to get dressed, you wash your face and all that.
Get on your knees to pray, or
Get on your knees to pray,
okay.
yes. And that's how you started the day. And then you would take a wash up. As you take your bath at night, and in the morning you take a wash up. That helped woke you up. That would help you wake up. And then you would have breakfast, fix breakfast. You had the cows to take out and put them in different places. You had water to pump. For the horses, my dad had horses and he had mules. So you had water to pump, and they had a pump. We didn't have a hydrant. So we had to haul what they call artificial water. We had to haul that in barrels. But you had to pump water before you went to the field, and you had to be in that field at sunrise. Sunrise, you had to be in that field. Well, you know, when they planted the cotton, and when the cotton come up and get about this tall, then you had to chop cotton. Because you had to thin that cotton out. It just went in a straight row. Then you had to thin that cotton out and keep the grass from around it. Then growing up, um, some of it would grow up over your head. You know, and sometimes I would break the the stalks, call it stalks instead of bushes. You break the stalk over, and my daddy came along and said, "You are mowing down my cotton. Don't break another limb." Well, you see, you couldn't see. You was just down in that cotton until the frost would fall, and then all the leaves would fall off.
Did you have brothers and sisters?
I got one brother,
And his name?
Lloyd Lindsay.
Lloyd. Okay. And any?
I got one sister living. But yes, I had sisters. I had 5 sisters.
Could you tell me all their names?
Okay, I had Mary, and she was Lindsay before she married. You want before or after?
Both. Well, I mean, I know it's Lindsay. What's her married name then?
Raven.
Okay.
Alberta.
Pardon me?
Alberta.
Okay, Alberta.
Okay.
Alberta's last name?
Jackson. And who did I say? Mary and Alberta? Okay, there was Clarie.
How do you spell that?
Clariee.
Okay.
And hers was Dixon.
Okay.
And that was Virginia.
Virginia?
And her last name was Morris. Okay. And one sister that I didn't get to know, she died when she was small. Just a baby.
Okay.
So I didn't get to know her.
What was her name?
I don't know.
Okay.
So, and I have the one sister living, did I tell you her name?
Mary?
No, Olivia
Olivia. That's pretty.
Chambers.
And she's the one who's living?
Yes.
Okay. All the others are?
All the other ones are deceased, yes. Except my brother is still living.
Okay. And that's Lloyd?
Yes.
Okay. Did you go through the public schools there in Bicklin then?
I went to, not in Bicklin, I had to walk about 4 miles to Nidiuma. I went to school at Nidiuma. So I had to walk about 4 miles to get to Nidiuma. And then where my daddy bought his land was on Pantherburn. He bought his land in Pantherburn. And I walked it so much, and after being so cold, the bus driver, there was a bus that went along, but it wasn't for me. So finally one day this man decided he would give me a ride, you know. When actually he wasn't going to pick up me because, see, I was black.
That's what I was wondering. Was it a segregated school you went to, too?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so,
of course.
finally he decided that he would give me a ride. He said he couldn't stand it any longer, so he would give me a ride to school. And, oh, that saved a lot of walking, because that walking went from 4 miles to about 6 miles. Some days my dad would come for me in the wagon if the weather was bad. You know, it would be muddy. Because we was like on the ranch, but, you know, we said in the country, on the farm. That's what we call it. So if it was muddy, you would get stuck in cars or anything like that. So you had to use the wagon.
Did you graduate from high school there, or
No.
no?
Leland, Mississippi.
Okay.
So in Leland, Mississippi, I lived with my sister Clara
Mhm.
and went to school there. I played basketball. I got to play on the All-Star team after I was grown, you know. I
Mhm.
had two children, and I would go to Leland and play on the All-Star team.
Mhm.
The All-Star team played from one college to another college. You didn't play high school kids
Mhm.
because everybody was grown. Everybody was adult. So we went from college, different college, and played ball. It was fun. It was fun.
What year did
Mhm.
you graduate?
Let's see, 50.
50. So you graduated in 50 in Mississippi, and then what happened after graduation?
Um, I my mother was sick, so to take care of my mother, and I stayed there with my mother. I wanted to go to college, but I didn't get to go to college. No, I wanted to go to Tuskegee because for making straight A's one year, I won a trip to Tuskegee with the principal.
Mhm.
He and I could pick two to go with me, so I picked a girl and a boy.
Mhm.
But we had lots of fun. Oh, I wanted to go to that college. I wanted to go to Tuskegee, but I didn't make it. And I had to take care of my mother. She was real sick, and so what I done with her is we went and lived with my sister, Clara,
Mhm.
in Leland, Mississippi. So I, would get a job, see after her, and work
Mhm.
my job, and that's what I would, until the time come when we had to go home and work in the fields. Because you see, doing from fall on, by the time fall get there, you'd be finishing all the crops, picked all the cotton, pull all the corn, can all the vegetables and stuff. Because we done lots of canning. We didn't have a freezer then. Excuse
Mhm.
me. But you would can your
Mhm.
vegetables and can your meat. Oh, my daddy would have so many hogs. But he was a butcher.
Mhm.
So he would cut them any way you wanted. You can your chops. You, you fry them and you put them in the jar. And you put some grease in there and something else. But anyway, they was just as fresh as they were just done
Mhm.
when you got ready to use them. So you canned everything then. Then when I was a little girl, my mother gave me a pantry. She called it pantry, where I had to can in the little Vaseline jars like this. That was,
Mhm.
so if it spoiled, it wouldn't be too much.
Mhm.
Because I wanted to can, and she would let me use the little Vaseline jars. A lot of people used a lot of Vaseline. She would collect the little jars from them.
Mhm. So your mother was ill, and you had to get a job and take care of her. Right. What kind of a job did you get?
I was working in a store, Dixie store at first. I was. And the Dixie store went out of business, and I was working in a restaurant. You might just say
Mhm.
cafe. Most people say cafe instead of the restaurant. Well, I was working in the cafe, and the first cafe I worked in was the Leland Cafe. And the manager had to go and get rolls and stuff from the bakery.
Mhm.
And he always would call me to go with him. Well, it got him in trouble and me without a job. His wife would not have that anymore, see, because I was black.
Mhm.
And she didn't want me. I had to carry the rolls. That's the purpose was for taking me to carry the rolls. He paid for them and I carry them, but she didn't like it. so they argued and argued, and finally, you know, I had to quit. And after that cafe, I worked in another cafe. In that cafe, see, when I went in, the girl told me about the job, and when I went in, and the man hired me. And my first day of work, he said, I want you to sit right here by the cash register and put a flower in your hair. So, and I, you know, had my flower in my hair the first day, and I said, now what else I'm supposed to do? He just sit right there. I didn't understand, what was going on. And later on, when the waitress come on, and they said, can you this, can you that, can you the other? And I said, well, sure, I help you. And every once in a while, he'll say, what did I tell you? And I say, okay, okay. But I didn't find out what was going on. It took me about, I guess, 3, 4 nights before I really found out
What was
what was
going
going
on?
on. Yes,
What
there
was?
was. He wanted me by the cash register, and the place would pull up in the evening time. It would pull up to the max, and like every man had his wife and his family there, his children. If he had children, they all was there. And then the place would empty. And there'd be nobody there. And I had got a ride home the first few nights. But then he said, come here, I want to show you something. And I went to the window. He said, just take a look outside, just slowly. Don't stare now, just slowly take a look. And they were all the men was rode off outside. He said, they're waiting on you to walk out their door. But I got a pill for them. I'm going to take you home. I will be taking you home every night. I wait till 10 o'clock. And the minute we go and get in the car, then they would start pulling off. Okay, well, his mother said that he couldn't take me home anymore. He lived with his mother, and they had the one car. So his mother said that he couldn't take me home anymore, and his mother would make him and his wife walk home. But they didn't have far to go. They had about maybe 8 blocks, and they would be at home. And besides, they were together. And then that first night that he didn't take me home, well, you see, I ran for my life to make it home. I had to go. We lived over in New Edition, and it was dark. Once you hit the bridge, it was really dark. When it was like going in a valley. And I was running and dodging and running and dodging until I got over in New Edition. Then they couldn't see you. So, and after that, I had to quit that job. Then I didn't get another job there. We went home.
How did you get to Casper? What year? When?
I came to Casper in 1957.
1957. What brought you here?
My husband.
Okay, when did you get married then?
My husband came out here. I got married I got married in 1950.
1950, and were you married in Mississippi then?
Yes.
What was his name?
Willie Frank Young.
Willie Frank Young, okay. So you came to Casper in 1957, and you said with your husband, why?
Well, my husband came out here because he had a sister out here, and a brother had came out here, and we were told there was good jobs out here. And so that's how he came out here. He came out here first, and then he sent for the children and I. And when we got ready to come out here, they would not sell us a ticket.
Okay, let's stop in there. So you got married in 1950. So between 1950 and 57, how many children did you have, and what were their names?
I had let's see. I had one. I had Larry. I had Ivory. Okay. I had lost the baby Ray Lamar. He got burned up in fire. Yes. Where he was my mother was crippled and she couldn't work, so she was watching him, and the house caught fire. They kept asking me, why you keep watching the house? And I said, I don't know. But my mind is on the house. That's what my sisters had all came from Leland to help us. And I said, I don't know, but my mind is on the house. And then all of a sudden I saw the smoke just, verge out from the house. So in a scream, the house is on fire, and we ran. My cousin went to get the truck, because we went to the field in the truck. And when I jumped on the truck, I stuck my finger in something, just grabbing a hold on. And when we got there and I jumped off, I almost tore my finger off. Something almost tore it off. I don't know what. But when I ran to my sister, I saw the curtains falling from the window. And I ran to my sister looking around, and I saw the little children. So I thought mine was in that bunch too. And she threw arms around me and she said, the baby is in the fire. I thought it was her baby, and here I was, just patting her, and she said, it's your baby. And when she said that,
How tragic.
I just threw her from me like that, And I was hollering for my nephew, run, calling baby brother because my mother raised him. So I said, run, baby brother, run. I saw him run up on the porch. A bunch of people ran over and grabbed me. And he said, I can't. The floor is burning all over. And instead of carpet on the floor, we had tile on the floor. But we had linoleum. See, it wasn't glued down like tile. See, it was just laid and tacked on the corners. That's the way it was. And so it was burning. He said it was burning like coal oil, just all over the floor, and you couldn't get in the house. No way.
I'm sorry, that's terrible. So you had Larry and Ivory then when you came here. Anybody
Larry
else?
and Ivory. I had Everett.
Everett. Okay.
Cynthia.
Would you like to spell that one?
Senthan.
It's pretty.
She was 2 months old when I came out here.
So he came here first, and then he sent for you and the 4 children then. Okay, you said something about getting the ticket.
Oh, the ticket agent said, he walked up to the window smiling and said, where to? And I said, Casper, Wyoming. And he just threw that window down and went out on the track. And it was almost time for the train, so, I started crying. And he would never come back in. So the train got there. And the conductor saying, all aboard. And I had my little children. I had got dropped off there. And I didn't have a ride away from the train depot. So I said, I don't have a ticket. He said, all aboard. I said, sir, please, I don't have a ticket. He said, he didn't sell you a ticket? I said, he wouldn't sell me a ticket. And he said, look at that scamp. Still out on the tracks doing nothing. He said, get on. I said, I can't. I don't have my ticket. He said, get on the train. I said, I don't have my ticket. And I started crying, and he said, get on the train, and I will get your ticket in Memphis. So that's what I had to do, ride to Memphis. And then in Memphis, we got off, and he bought our tickets. And for out here, we came on out here.
Okay. What was your first impression of getting off the train in Casper, Wyoming? What month was it?
It was kind of like
Your
what
season, you know.
season? It was like fall.
Okay.
It was fall, and getting off the train on the way here, I there wasn't anything.
Hmm.
You know, you want to look at things as you pass, and there wasn't anything to look at except mountains. Well, it just wasn't anything. And when I came to Casper, you know, I thought I was coming to like a city like. I thought sure would be as large as the place where we would go all the time, Hollandale, Mississippi, is where we would go and shop.
Hmm.
I thought it would look that good, but Casper did not look that good to me when I came here. And then there were so many, what they call houses, we call chicken coops.
Hmm.
On the farm, those were chicken coops. We
Hmm.
say chicken coops, but some people say hen houses, you know.
Yeah.
But there was people living in it. All down here by this parking lot, there was little houses. You was taller than it, you know. I
Hmm.
guess they was in the ground, living
Hmm.
in the portion of it was in the ground, and that's where they was
Hmm.
living at. But I wasn't used to that, you know.
Hmm.
And some people, and I joined church as soon as I got here, and
What did your husband do?
he worked it for. Um, what was the name of it? When I first came out here, he was working for Ford, but it wasn't Granite Ford. It was something else.
Important. Okay. And
But it
then,
was a Ford Motor Company.
okay. What was he doing for them?
I really don't know what all he was doing for them.
Hmm. And did he stay at Ford or did he move on to someplace else?
No, he did janitorial work, and then he went to work for the city.
And what did he do for the city?
He was worked on the dumpster.
The Say that again.
On the dumpster.
Okay. Collection department.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And you, of course, are raising a family, right?
Yes, and I worked it for some people in their home. After a while, I had a baby every year.
Hmm.
My children are just 1 year apart. A year and a month, year and a few months, and then go back.
Wow.
Um, but I had to go where I could work part time,
Hmm.
you know, and come home. I couldn't just hold a job right then. But when
Not if
my
you're having a baby every year. Of course not. You couldn't with that. After Cynthia, who came in?
Mavis,
Mavis. And then?
after Mavis came Willie,
Okay. And after Willie?
Vivian,
Okay.
and after Vivian, Tatsetta,
Could you spell that one for me?
Totsetta,
Say that again.
Totsetta.
Oh, I know Tots. Yeah. Okay.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. Tatsetta. After Tatsetta came Sharon. But I have Skip's son. Here's this baby. This is the baby right here
Uh-huh.
that I lost in the fire, and I didn't give you his name, did I?
Yes, you did. It was Relamar.
Ray Lamar.
Ray Lamar.
Okay. Now I had one baby that was stillborn,
Mm-hmm.
and
So Shara is the youngest then?
Cher's the youngest.
Okay, now let me check on some stuff here. Larry Young,
Uh-huh.
is he still here or
No, he's in Seattle.
Seattle? Okay, what's Ivory's last name?
Ivory, Ivory's Lindsay and Larry is Lindsay.
Okay,
The two Lindsays.
okay. And she didn't marry?
Excuse me.
Did Ivory ever get married?
Ivory, that's a boy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he did get married, but
Okay.
He isn't married right now.
Okay, and he lives where then?
Ivory lives here.
What does he do here?
He works for Casper Star Tribune.
Okay. And Everett?
Everett is in Crescent City, California.
Okay. Cynthia?
Stan is in Cheyenne.
Okay. Mavis?
Mavis is in Seattle, Washington.
Okay, I need to get their last names too. What is Mavis's last name now?
Young.
She's a Young, okay.
Yeah, she
What about Cynthia?
Cynthia is Bennett now.
Bennett, okay.
And
what's Willie doing? That's Willie Young, I know.
BLM.
BLM. Vivian.
Vivian isn't working, but her last name is Renova.
Is she here or?
She's here.
And she's not working now.
No.
And Todd's last name is Young, right?
Yes.
I know she's at Kmart and Mini Mart because I see her frequently.
Yes.
And Shara is Larry, okay, and
Yes.
she works for the city.
Yes.
Okay, what about yours and your husband's experiences here around housing? Did you have trouble finding a house or?
When the first house we lived in belonged to, I would say, neighbor to his sister. When we came out here, we lived with his sister until we found a place. A neighbor to his sister, and come to find out the house had been flooded 3-4 times, but that's all we could find at that time. And
where was that located?
on North Lincoln,
North.
like about in the 200 block, North Lincoln. It's on the other side.
Okay.
And so then we had problems finding a house, and then finally that's how I got over North Casper, because the one lady rented me a house over here in North Casper. I rented right over there on Beach Street on the corner of Beach, Slats, and his wife rented me a house. But the other houses we were trying to get, they didn't want children, and they didn't want blacks, and they definitely didn't want children. So
in what neighborhood would
that
you say
was
the
like a little over
discrimination?
further.
Okay.
Wasn't let's see.
These are mostly white realtors you're talking about, right? Or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were. And then these houses that I rented, these people own the houses. And then I moved right down here. That was one of the church ladies, and she was moving away. And she let me have her house, and until I bought this house.
Church, Christ First Missionary?
No, it was Grace AME.
Grace Amy. Is that the one you go to then, Grace?
No, I go to Christ
You
First
go to
Missionary
Christ, okay.
Baptist.
Your experiences here, being such a busy woman, raising this huge family, also having to work, etc. Were your experiences positive mostly, when you were dealing with the community, or did you have a sense of discrimination at times, or describe life in Casper?
I had the sense of discrimination, and people would do it to you all the time, but I would totally ignore it. And that's what my mother said do when I got ready to come out here. She said, the way to stay out of trouble, she said, see and don't see, hear and don't hear. Said, don't just be nice and don't pay the people any attention, And there have been people that was rude, and especially when I had my children. But I would just totally ignore them. And then after a while, I remember one time I said something, but I told them that I said, just forget it now. I'll see you later, like that, But and wherever my children went, I would take the time and go with them. Well, I had them come home, and there were some teachers that some of my children had that I had a problem with. Some of the teachers, and so I would go and see the teacher, and we would talk. But and I tell them that didn't want my child mistreated, misused, and if they did, I would be back again, and not in the same way, you know.
What schools?
But right down here, and this one right down here, and one. Toxetta had one that was really rude to her, but Mr. Can't call the teacher's name right now. He said, Mr. Leathers. Okay, sure, no. Mr. Leathers said, I would take Toxetta. He was crazy about Toxetta. Yeah, so, they put an end to that because when they found out one teacher cared so much for, then they straightened out.
Augusta, we've heard stories of black women not being allowed to try on dresses before they bought them here. Did you experience any of that? Having come here, most of this happened in probably early 50s. Did you experience any of that after you came here?
No. I didn't experience that, and maybe I didn't have the money at that time.
What about restaurants in this town, as you've lived in this town? Have you ever had any discrimination in any of the restaurants?
You would get the discrimination, and Casper was a place that, and it still does, it hides. They hide. It's like throwing a brick and hiding your hand. They still do things, but in a sneakish way, discrimination. But in a sneakish way when, not all of them, but there's somebody, seems like, that will always do that. They don't want to have weight on you, and, they don't slap your water to you or whatever you got. They don't want to talk to you. You run into that, but no, I just laugh about it and ignore it. But I never had nobody to refuse to give me a seat, ask me to get up. I haven't had anything like that.
And you've never had a restaurant where they told you they wouldn't serve you or you weren't allowed in?
No, because I didn't go to restaurants for, if that was happening in the 50s, I didn't go to restaurants for a long time.
Yeah, you
had
a huge family. Tell me about Christ First Missionary Baptist Church. Did you join that right away when you came here? Or?
Right away I did.
What kinds of things did you do at the church?
Oh, gosh, when I first joined the church and got my children all in it, I have been in so many things in that church. I sing in the choir. I've been president of the choir. I've been treasurer, and right now I am chairman of the trustees. But I've been just about everything except an usher. I have never been an usher in the church. But president of the mission, I have been so many things in the church. So, and I sing in the choir, but right now I'm not singing in the choir.
What other kinds of things did you do? Were you involved with the NAACP or any of the women's organizations or other activities?
Yes, I'm involved with the NAACP right now. And, we had, oh gosh, we did lots of things, and we had national, I put some things up here so I could see them. We had Color Women's Club. Do I have it? Don't. Color Women's Club right here. We had our 21st convention. And this was in 1983. And at that particular time, I was president, state president for the state of Wyoming. We have, for the whole state of Wyoming. That's what I was, state president. And we have, this club is in many different states. But each state has its own president. That's how it goes. And I was president over this for a couple of years. And then, and I worked with Black History. I've done many things with Black History. While you're looking at that, we started, I was saying about 81 or something like that. This Denise Anderson and I. She's not here anymore.
I was just going to ask that.
Yeah, she's in Denver. But Denise Anderson and I, and we started like, this was 88 here, and this was called We Are Family. This was for Black History, and this was in 87. This was our theme for this, Roots, Stems, and Roses. I don't have all of it, I just have a little of this stuff. This was in 85 here, and this was for Black History.
Augusta, these things are what we call archival documents. We would like to borrow them and copy them and bring it back to you. Could you trust us to do that, so that if we do have, we will have a file of all the historical things such as this, and if we do a book, then they can be into the book, but you have my solemn promise and guarantee I will treat them with a great deal of respect and bring them back to you. Would you let us do that?
Okay.
Okay.
There's another one of those now. Let me see. A tribute to Black History, her story, and our story. Let me see if this one was by Cheryl. Was this one yours? Her story and our story. We had a D. Morgan. Okay. This one is Cheryl's. This one is ours, coming together through communication. Now, this was done also for Black History Month. And here I was the mistress of ceremony and the program chairperson.
You've been very active, haven't you, through the years?
Oh, yes. I worked with the North Casper Improvement Association. I worked with them a good while. Because I was sick, and here's something else I was involved in. Did I show you this?
That looks on
the book?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I showed you that. Okay. I think that's all that I have up here. This one is Cheryl's too.
Augusta, has your husband passed away?
Yes.
When did he pass away?
My husband passed away. Gosh, let me see. He passed away in 75. He's been passed away. How many years is that?
20.
About right at 20. Yes.
May I ask what he died from?
He had a heart attack.
So you have continued to, you still have all these children in 1975. How do you continue and support yourself and them?
I work for a nursing home in Paradise Valley. I worked for that nursing home out there in Paradise Valley, and I would follow the nurses around. I would hurry up and do my duties and follow the nurses around every chance I get so I could learn to see what they were doing. Now, they did have some alcoholic nurses. I'll put that in the book.
Okay. There are
and
alcoholics in every field.
and on days that, they had too much, they couldn't come in. And I wore white. And they would make me be a nurse because I knew exactly what to do. All the treatments and everything. I would learn how to do it all. Pass meds, I learned how to do it all. And then one day the supervisor looked at me. I was going to the desk and she looked at me, do my charting. She said, Augusta, and I said, yes. She said, what do you have in white hose? I said, I'm wearing white hose because, and I had been wearing them all the time. But this was the first time she noticed it, and I thought it was funny. But anyway, I said, I'm wearing white hose because they don't run as fast as the regular hose. They last longer. She said, well, I'm going to have to ask you not to ever wear them again. And I said, why? She said, because you look like a nurse. So I didn't wear white hose anymore. And when they asked me to perform that duty, I said, no, I can't. And they said, why? I said, because I'm not wearing white hose. I was just kidding them. I said, because I'm not wearing white hose. I said, but no, I'm not going to do that anymore. You guys just going to have to find you another nurse.
What was your normal job there? What did you do?
Nurse's aide.
Nurse's aide.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a nurse's aide.
I did that at the hospital for a while too.
Did you?
That's tough work.
Yes, it is.
How long were you at Paradise Valley then?
I was at Paradise Valley, I don't know, about 5 years. Then I was doing janitorial work too. I had 4 jobs, and my doctor said I had to let 2 jobs go. So when I didn't feel tired. I felt numb. I didn't have any feelings. So when I let the 2 jobs go, I just went into a slumber, just a deep sleep, and slept and slept and slept. That's how my body was. Run down, and the doctor said, if you don't let 2 of those jobs go, you're going to fall on your face. And so I let them go, 2 of the jobs. Later, I kept 2 jobs. So I kept janitorial, and I kept Paradise Valley. But before that, I had worked for some different ladies, and I had some ladies that was nice to me, very nice to me. I worked for one lady, and this lady was sick. But she didn't want her husband to know she was sick. The minute her husband walked out the door, she would jump in her gown real fast and get into bed. And she'd watch the clock half an hour before he came home. She'd get dressed real quick and fix his lunch. And then she would close the door. If I'm working in the next room to the kitchen, she'll close the door until he have his lunch and leave. Then she'll open up the door, and she said, well, I don't know what I'm going to give you. You didn't take your lunch, they would give you lunch. I don't know what I'm going to give you. I got to see if I can find anything. And if I can't find anything, I don't know. My husband ate up all the food. And so I didn't say nothing, but after that went on with that one lady for about 3-4 times. That was it. I didn't go back anymore to her,
Well, I can see why.
Yeah, she was mean.
Augusta, what's your worst memory of this place? Casper.
Of Casper. Let me see. Um, I had some problems doing Martin Luther King and Black History. See, I done Martin Luther King too. Martin Luther King and Black History. I had some problems that really scared me, and I don't want to because I had some problems with the Klansmen.
Oh, really?
They called me and they threatened, and so
Approximately what year was this?
I called the police. There was I don't know. Denise was still here because she and I was doing it that year. What was the one when we was? Can't remember just what year that was. But we called the police, and the police came. They were there, and we went ahead on and did the program. And the police was there. So I mean, if any of them was there, they wasn't dressed.
What did they say to you when they called you?
They said who they were, and they was said they was going to burn crosses, and they wanted to know if I had family here and what size was my family, how many. They wanted to know stuff like that.
When we're done, will you think for a while on what year it was and get back to me on what year that was? Okay.
It was the year we was at the school over there. Let me see one of those things I gave you. One of those papers. Let's see if I have that paper up here. I know where it was.
Needless to say, that was very frightening.
Yes, it was. And I don't think I have that paper. The favorite memory, Casper. Let me see. And I guess the other. Well, the favorite memory, Casper, I guess, is me being involved in so many things, activities, from one organization to another one. Well, I've been with Church United Women's for a long time, and they do all kinds of things. We just done a program, and you do all kinds of things, It's fun, and it's nice, You learn a lot, and you have to do a lot of reading or speaking and stuff like that, and then there's food. But I've been working with them for long. You go out of town and back. I've been working for them for a long time. So
That's great.
that's been great, yes.
How many grandchildren do you have now?
I have about, I'm going to have to get, about 23, I think.
Wow. I was just curious about that. Great-grandchildren yet?
Yes, I do have great-grandchildren. Let's see. Oh, one, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 9. Am I right, Sharon? Great-grandchildren? Just about 9.
Anything else you want to share with us before we talk to your daughter?
Let me see. I can't think of it right now.
You've obviously been a role model and an active participant in your community. I'm sure your children are very proud of you.
Oh, yes. I've worked in all kinds of things. In my community. Other churches, they call me, how I go and help them do things.
Gusta, if you think of anything else after we've talked, feel free. I'm going to leave you with my phone numbers. Feel free to call me anytime. Also, if you come across any more documentation like this that you can share with us for that we copy and bring back to you, we'd sure love that too.
Okay.
And I will call you next week because that is the. Darla, would you spell your name for us, your first and last name?
Shara.
Okay.
My maiden name.
Mhm.
Young. Young.
And your married name?
It's Larry. Larry.
And where do you live, Sheriff?
101 North Clinton.
And your date of birth?
9/20/64. 1964.
And you've lived in Casper your whole life?
Yes, except for about 4 years.
Yeah. Well, tell us about your childhood first. You know, what it was like and what school you went to. And
Okay,
we have all your brothers and sisters' names now. So.
Okay. The only house I remember, my mother lived in another house, but the only house I remember is this house here at 504. To grade school, Lincoln, which is now called North Casper School. Okay. It was okay. It was different at times. I guess the only thing I wondered, I grew up wanting to just for one day be in a school with the all black. When I was in 5th grade, there was a black teacher named Mrs. Puckett, a great teacher, and she moved before I got to have her. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to see what it was like. Mm-hmm. I was called some names. I wasn't called a whole lot of names, I think, because my older brothers and sisters were always fighting if they were called a name, and so I was referred to as the baby or that's so-and-so's little sister bear or not. So I didn't have a whole lot of that. I had a lot of friends, and let's see. That's pretty much basically my the way that it was my grade school year. When I got into junior high.
Which junior high did you go to?
Went to Dean Morgan Junior High. And in 9th grade, was voted student body president.
Wonderful.
In the classes. My name is still up there at Dean Morgan. They said I was the first black president there in the school.
Sounds to me like academically you were doing very well too. And
yeah, I did okay. I tried to get through it. I played sports. I was active in basketball and track. I set some records in track. Trying to think. So, in my junior high, yeah. So, that's what I basically did. When I got into high school, I did the same thing. I felt some discrimination in the sports because a lot of favoritism. I knew I was better than some of the girls, but their fathers were doctors or lawyers, so they would get more playtime. And it would make me feel like, okay, it must be my color. So my senior year, I had finally got frustrated with my basketball coach, and I quit. And my senior year, my speech writing teacher, we had to write a short story. She came across, she read my story and graded it, and she came in the hallway and she told me to take writing seriously, that I had a natural ability to become a writer. And so I did. So I'm a poet, and I've won some poet awards, and I am working on a novel, and I've done several plays in the community, and I've done about 6 talent shows in the community. We're trying to get it scheduled to do a play. One of my dreams is to do a play with Mr. John F. Welsh, the man with the news, into the auditorium after.
He's still around?
He's still around.
I was wondering if he'd be one of those retired Arizona people or not.
Kind of, but we talk occasionally. I was just involved in an accident. It kind of delayed it. But that's one of my goals, and that's what I'm getting ready to do, working on that. get that wrapped up and to do before he either moves on or, you know, with his age and stuff. And,
What a great idea.
yeah, I just, that, that was just, this is beginning. I thought in high school, the history, when I became an adult, I looked back, I didn't think that the high school taught very, very good black history. Um, the only black history that we would see were like slaves and the abuse of things, or you know, working the railroads, or picking the cotton. You know, we didn't see a lot of positive role models, and
That's still true today.
and see, that was frustrating as I became an adult and moved around a little bit. I went, my gosh. There was, in my class, 1983, there were 3 blacks that graduated. And that entire class was about maybe 500 or something like that or so. And I wondered about that, you know, I still think about that a lot. For whatever the reason might be, maybe not a whole lot of blacks, but some of them, you know, dropping out for whatever, you know, that's not a whole lot. There was, let's see, I don't know, I guess it was just, I just went through the
Sounds like
flow.
overall your public school experience was very good, and you had the protection of your brothers and sisters too, right?
Right.
Yeah. Did they ever complain to you about the things they were experiencing?
Yes, I saw a lot because I lived with them, and you know, there were times where my older brothers would be chased by motorcycle gangs. You know, there were times where there were so many of us. My mother did the best that she could, but you know, we were poor in the way that sometimes we dressed. You know, you would hear the little, you know, and I'm sure that had a lot to do with the way I grew up. That probably had a lot to do with the play that I did, Everybody is Somebody, that I wrote, because in that play there's a lot of that in there too. And so that was kind of hard. It's just like the kids today, you know, they want the best and they want the best shoes. Well, see, we were like that too. We wanted the best, and you know, but our mother also raised us to be grateful that what we had, you know, and there were times just trying to survive, you know, with all of us, and her working all those jobs. There were times, you know, I remember wondering where the next meal was going to come, and you know, she would make magic out of just a piece of bread. But I didn't find a lot. My mother kept me busy, and that's what I do with my daughter. My mother kept me in. I was in Girl Scouts, I was in sports, I was active in the church, and that had a whole lot to do with the person that I am today, is because she kept me busy, and I'm still busy. You know, I'm still just like her, just in the community doing this and this and this and that. And I know that had a lot to do with it. So I didn't get I didn't get into trouble, and I didn't have the time to do it. But
So what happened after graduation then?
after graduation, I went to Casper College. I only attended 1 year. The government, Bureau of Land Management, offered me a job, so I decided to take the job.
That was with whom?
The Bureau of Land Management.
Okay.
Because my mother was still struggling, and I had seen her struggle so much. I was the type of person where if I would work and make money, I would give her what I could. So the money was at the particular time more to me than the college, and so I chose that. Then I got married and went through all that stuff. Got her. My highlight, I say, is in 1993, and I won a POET Award in Beverly Hills, California, and I got invited to Milton Berle's 65th birthday bash.
Marvelous.
Yeah, and I met probably about 200 celebrities, and it was at the Beverly Hills Hilton Inn, and that was like a dream, because ever since I was little, I've always dreamed of being to something like that and receiving an award, or
Mhm.
you know. So that was probably the biggest highlight. And I
Mhm.
have pictures with Della Reese and Fresh Prince, and just
Fantastic.
that just
Yeah.
still, is inside of me.
Mhm.
And that inspired me when I came back. Of course, I was ready. I was ready to do a play, you know,
Mhm.
and that's been it. Just doing plays, and everybody's just waiting for me to do another play. The community response was really good. I had Nick Murdoch, attorney, I had the county clerk in the play. Um, just, you know, really good community involvement, and I was grateful for that,
When
because
did you put that play on?
I did, let's see, it was in 95. It was called Everybody is Somebody. Yeah, I had 23 cast members.
Impressive, huh?
And it's hard because it's not like I have a degree
Mhm.
in it, and I write from my heart, and I just picture how I want things and like to see
Mhm.
things. So, when you don't just have like a degree and you know it, so you're just kind of a little
Mhm.
hesitant, like, well, so I went with the flow, believed in my heart, and prayed and said, okay, I'm just going to do it. And before I knew it, I was doing it. And yes,
Mhm.
there were times I was like, oh my gosh, what have I done? I
Mhm.
can't believe, you know. But I lived and learned. It was a learning experience.
Exciting. The Black History Month talent show, is that the one you and Ellen co-hosted?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I have that whole thing on tape, by the way.
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
Oh,
it'll go
good.
into the archives too,
Oh,
this
will it?
last one, yeah.
Yeah.
That is great. Very talented, creative young woman, aren't you? You're working where now for the city right now, aren't you?
I've been at the county clerk's office for 6 years.
You're divorced.
Mm-hmm.
What's your daughter's name, Sharon?
Seria, Seria.
Larry?
Larry. Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Anything else you want to share with us?
I, I just want to tell you, I really commend you doing this. And I just think that I really am excited to see this come out. And I wish that there was a way that I could turn this about into a play. Um,
The minute I heard you were a writer,
yeah, yeah, I think that it would be fun to show that and have that at one of the auditoriums. I think that would be really, really exciting.
if we are able to get this transcribed somehow, would you be willing to write once it's all transcribed?
Sure,
Would you?
sure. I would love to, yeah. I absolutely would.
I don't know that maybe you'd be willing to transcribe too, but you're looking at a long-term project if you wanted to do that. I mean, every video is probably running an hour to an hour and a half, right? I think what I want you to do is start thinking, and
Okay.
I'll get hold of you before I leave town.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah,
Maybe you're
whatever.
the person I need to leave the tapes with this summer.
Whatever you
That
need.
sounds
I just
great.
think that that was really great. That make sure that you put yourselves in there
Hmm.
in the tape. That that it shows a lot of history, of
Hmm.
Black history growing up here, and things. I was named after my the brother that burned in the house. I was named after him. I have his middle name is my name. And growing up, I'd always look at that picture and wonder, you know,
What is?
what about it and things like that, But
Your mom's got a hard life.
she has.
Hmm.
She's just got this strong inner strength that I know is just amazing.
Anything else?
Oh no.
Okay, great. That's wonderful. I need to take pictures of both of you before.